live. What's going on, everyone? Thank you so much for tuning in at this time. Everybody that's here, I greatly appreciate it. Anybody watching this on the replay, thank you so much. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel. So, obviously, Lakers traded for Dorian Finney-Smith. We should be able to get them to play or see them get to play in this game against the Cavs tomorrow on New Year's Eve. I'm excited for that. Looking forward to that. But also, JJ Redick said that he's expecting to stick with the starting five. So you're still going to have Austin Reeves, Max Christie, Rui Hachimura, LeBron James, and Anthony Davis, which is fine. Even after the trade happened, I talked about how that was probably what was going to happen, at least for now. A couple reasons. One, you're just bringing them in. You're just getting them acclimated, right? You want to kind of take some time to properly get these guys involved and integrated into the offense, the schemes, the defensive schemes, kind of get them all worked out and stuff. So the fact that Dorian Finney-Smith as well as, Shake Milton, I don't really see in the starting unit unless, you have a couple injuries or guys get a night off or something like that. But I do think eventually you'll see Dorian Finney-Smith in the starting unit. I'm curious to see how JJ approaches that. Does he put Dorian Finney-Smith in place of like a Max Christie eventually or Rui Hachimura eventually? Do the Lakers keep Rui in the starting unit to kind of continue to raise his trade value and kind of keep him in the trade hunt? It's another possibility. That's another potential option. Really curious to see how JJ kind of approaches this over the next few games. I imagine it'll probably be 5 or so games before the Lakers actually make that adjustment, make that change, where Dorian Finney-Smith moves into the starting unit. JJ said he already talked to Dorian Finney-Smith about it. So I imagine that he'll be patient. He'll take his time. Rob Pelinka is expected to be open to trades, still monitoring, still, doing his due diligence, but he wants to kind of spend this time evaluating. We got Jared Vanderbilt, who is back on court activities. He's not coming back anytime soon, probably another 2 weeks away minimum, but he is starting to make that progress to where he's doing on court non-contact activities. Then he'll move into contact activities and then, probably scrimmages and stuff, and then eventually move into actual gameplay. So Christian Wood, hopefully he'll be back around the same time in a couple weeks. And then we'll be in good shape, right? Start getting everyone back, get everyone healthy, kind of spend, a couple games or so between now and the trade deadline to really kind of take a step back, evaluate, see, okay, what is available, what's not available, what can we trade, what can we not trade? What do we need? Because like I said, for example, I actually think Shake Milton is going to be a sneaky pickup. I think he's going to be very good for us. What I mean by very good, I'm not saying he'll be a 15 to 20 point a game guy. I think he'll be serviceable defensively. I think he'll be a good spot up, catch, shoot, 3-point shooter, a guy that can make some plays for himself, a guy that can make plays for others. Talking like 8 to 10 range, somewhere in that ballpark. Make the occasional. If he could be like an 8-3-3 guy, right, and play good stout defense, 6'5", 7-foot wingspan, that's perfect, right? Kind of bolster the bench a little bit. I think he would be fantastic in that role. But for example, like Rob can now see, okay, well, do we need another guard if we trade Gabe Vincent, or is Shake Milton able to kind of come in, slot in, and play that role? Is he able to kind of be that Gabe Vincent type player for us and give us some more size? Or do we need to bring in like, a Markelle Fultz or a Alfred Payton or one of these guys if things don't, if we end up trading Gabe Vincent, stuff like that. Also, can Dorian Finney-Smith, like if I'm, Rob for one, but if I'm JJ for another, I'm experimenting with Dorian Finney-Smith at like the 3, 4, and 5, right? Like if I'm JJ, or not 3, 4, and 5, sorry, 2, 3, and 4. Correction, 2, 3, and 4. Right? Because, like, what if you can have a unit to where Dorian Finney-Smith can slot in and play your 2, and you can go get like a Jeremy Grant or a Cam Johnson or a Kyle Kuzma, even something like that. Maybe go get some more size and just kind of go with like a big unit. I still don't really like Austin Reeves in the point guard role as like your starter. But if you have enough size, defense, and versatility there, and then you always have LeBron come playoff time, I think you'd be in good shape, right? Austin Reeves as your point guard in the regular season, I think is fine. I think you'd be okay with that. I have concern come playoff time because he doesn't handle ball pressure well, and I'm worried that teams are really going to press him, are really going to go after him. But I don't know, but that's the point, right? Can you take this time, take the next handful of games or so, really evaluate? Okay, Dorian Finney-Smith, okay, he can't play, so he's just 3. Okay, we need to go get a Bruce Brown or a Malcolm Brogdon or something like that, right? Depending on what it is. I'm big on Bruce Brown. I really want Bruce Brown. I think if you get Valanciunas and Bruce Brown, I think the Lakers are probably a real contender at that point. Obviously, you got to see how the pieces fit and mesh and stuff. But I think that they have real championship aspirations at that point. I just think you just have a better balanced starting unit. Obviously, I prefer a better upgrade than Valanciunas at the backup center position, but I still maintain that he's probably the most realistic, that he's probably the most likely backup center that the Lakers can end up getting, which is fine. Like I said, in a backup role, he'll be fine. It's the starting role where the concern is. Perfect world, you get Walker Kessler, Colin Sexton, and Walker Kessler. I have a video coming about them. I know a lot of people really want to see Colin Sexton and Walker Kessler on the Lakers. So I have a video diving into that a little bit. Do the Lakers go and make a push for, right? If all these other prices are pricey, do you take a gamble on Brandon Ingram or something like that? Because you can slot Ingram at your 2 and go like I said, have Reeves, Ingram, Dorian Finney-Smith, LeBron James, Anthony Davis. There's still a big part of me that would prefer to get that just upgraded third option, right? I've always said I don't think it's the end of the world. If you get Bruce Brown, Dorian Finney-Smith, and Valanciunas or something like that, I think you're good enough to be a contender. My only concern is just you need that third guy to take the pressure off of LeBron and AD. You just have so much pressure on all these other guys. But again, it's not something that I would go rush to. I don't hate the idea of the flexibility and financial flexibility. De'Aaron Fox, obviously, in a perfect world, if he became available, trade all your chips. I wonder if that's kind of what the Lakers are waiting on, right, and being patient with, because you were able to get Dorian Finney-Smith without any first or anything like that, which is good. I mean, Rob didn't overpay for Dorian Finney-Smith, which is massive, because you could still go get De'Aaron Fox. I mean, at that point, I don't care. Trade Austin Reeves, trade whatever you have to, right? Austin Reeves, your first, Rui Hachimura and Jalen Uchafino or whatever, make the money start, and then you're good. And then go take your 2 first, a pick swap, whatever you have to do at that point. Because, I mean, literally, you're starting – if you had a starting 5 of De'Aaron Fox, Max Christie, Dorian Finney-Smith, LeBron James, and Anthony Davis, you're winning probably the next 2 years, right? You're probably in really good shape. But, obviously there's the potential of the sneaky moves, the sneaky trades. I've talked about even just for depth purposes, do you go get a Cody Martin? Do you go get a Torrey Craig, Io? Honestly, Chicago has outside, obviously I want Zach. I'm a big Zach LaVine guy, but even outside of Zach LaVine, right? I like Lonzo Ball, but my problem with Lonzo Ball is, can he play? Can he actually stay healthy and on the basketball court? Lonzo is everything the Lakers need if he can stay healthy. Same thing with a Malcolm Brogdon, Bruce Brown, guys like that. Bruce Brown is probably the healthiest of them all. I know he just came back, but he doesn't have that extensive injury history like a Brogdon, like a Lonzo Ball. But, Chicago also has a Valanciunas. I don't hate the idea of a Valanciunas still. They have even a Davion Carter, or not Davion Carter. Is it Davion Carter? Carter. They have Chris Dort, right? They have Io. They have several pieces, right? There's several guys out there on Chicago that make some sense. Torrey Craig. It's just, can you get multiple pieces still? Obviously, you right? My thing is can you find a team that would take a flyer on like a Jalen Hood-Schifino? All right, like obviously you can add him as like salary dump, but like just like how the Lakers got essentially turned Maxwell Lewis into a Shake Milton, can the Lakers kind of do something like that with Jalen Hood-Schifino? Right, maybe go get like instead of giving up seconds and a bunch of picks, can you turn him into whatever? Like I said, a Torrey Craig or something like that. I don't know if the money matches up, but you get my point. Like, another veteran that can come off the bench and just play, just be a rotation piece for the Lakers is kind of my thoughts, right? Can the Lakers get another rotation guy for a guy that you're probably just letting go and getting off of, and then still save your seconds, still save your assets and stuff? Obviously, Lakers aren't going to trade like Bronny James or anything like that, but just kind of my thought, like, can the Lakers kind of find something in that regard? But we'll see. Time will tell. And hopefully something more gets done going forward. But anyway, real quick, let's jump into all the super chat questions, all the regular questions, all of that stuff. But real quick, hit that like button for me. Hit that subscribe button if you're not subscribed and you're hanging out. And let's get into it. So, all right, let's start. Andrew, yo, what is going on? Appreciate you. Say, boy, what's going on? Yo, Walker Kessler would be ideal. I'd love to see the Lakers land Walker Kessler. I think that's going to be tough, though. Going to be tough. What's up, Bruce Brown, baby daddy? What's going on, Christian? First, I appreciate being here. Secondly, look, I am big on Bruce Brown. I like Bruce Brown. I like Bruce Brown because he's a big, physical, sizable guard that can initiate the offense, be your point of attack, right? Defend 1 through 4 on many nights. Give you that athleticism, give you that toughness. He's a guy that shows up in the playoffs. And just like Bruce Brown, Austin Reeves with Dorian Finney-Smith, LeBron James, and Anthony Davis, that's a championship caliber team. That's a championship caliber 5. You have balance, you have defense, versatility, switchability, all of it. Dorian Finney-Smith can defend the best forwards. Bruce Brown can defend the best guards. Austin Reeves can defend, the third or fourth best guy. Still have LeBron, AD, got good size, good length, good switchability. I really do. Really like that. What's going on, Octavian? Get DeMar. I still don't hate DeMar. Honestly, at the price he's making, I would stay away from DeMar. Unless you could get him for essentially free. The reason why I wanted DeMar DeRozan in the offseason, because I've had people be like, oh, well, Sacramento, look at how bad DeMar is in Sacramento. Well, yeah, I said he would be bad in Sacramento, but I said it'd be different with the Lakers because the Lakers don't have a guy like DeMar. There's a big difference, right? A team like Sacramento didn't need DeMar DeRozan because they already have 2 guys that do what DeMar does, right? But a team like the Lakers, they don't have that guy that can just get to his spot, shoot over the top, right? I do worry about the fit, and I said this in the offseason. I worry about his fit alongside the Lakers with LeBron James and Anthony Davis. Obviously, the pacing concern, but Lakers have operated a lot more in the half court this season, which DeMar would fit. What we've seen from JJ Redick's offensive style, DeMar would fit a lot better than what it would have been like with like a Darvin Ham. I still have my concerns about DeMar DeRozan, but I wouldn't hate it. Like if you could just essentially get off of him, then or not get off of him, but Keynes just wanted to get off of him. Sure, but at this point, no. In the offseason, it made a lot of sense given the circumstances the Lakers were in. I think the Lakers are on the right path, and I do believe that Rob's going to make the moves to keep them on the right path. So personally, I would stay away from DeMar DeRozan. However, I do think DeMar DeRozan would be much better on the Lakers than he would be on Sacramento. However, the Lakers should stay away from DeMar DeRozan. Personally, respectfully. We need a center bad. A backup center, yeah, would be nice. I still don't think it's the biggest priority. Jackson Hayes is supposed to be back next game. You're going to get you still have Christian Koloko and stuff. I think you need to continue to solve your perimeter help. Center's probably the easiest part. Lakers could supposedly, based on reports, Lakers could get Valanciunas essentially whenever they want. But I think if you're the Lakers, you still be patient, right? Like, why didn't they get Day'Ron Sharp in the Nets trade? They still had 2 more seconds. They could have added the 2 seconds and gotten Day'Ron. Is it because they have another guy in mind? Is it because maybe the Nets just wanted too much for Day'Ron Sharpe. Right? Maybe the Lakers wanted somebody, tall because he's like 6'9". So maybe they wanted somebody taller. I don't know. But supposedly the Lakers were interested in Day'Ron Sharpe. So I don't know. That's I'm very curious as to why. The answer is simple. Colin Sexton and Walker Kessler. If we get them added to this, give us the title right now. Move out of the way. The rest of the league. Yeah, like I wouldn't mind that at all. I have a video about that very thing that I'm going to post tomorrow. Yeah, I don't hate the idea. You get an athletic, scoring, point of attack guard that can apply rim pressure, still shoot the three ball, do multiple things out there on the basketball court. Obviously, Walker Kessler is still my favorite center option. If the Lakers could get Walker Kessler at the center option, that would be fantastic. It's just cost, right? Like, what will Utah actually be willing to trade him to us? Kessler or Jonas Valanciunas? Yes. I think Valanciunas is the most likely. I still believe in the end, Lakers are probably going to end up with Valanciunas. I hope it's somebody else. I just, if I'm being honest, I just think that Valanciunas is probably, like, if I had to, put pen to paper, I'd say it's that. Content suggestion, really realistic ideal trade deadline. Yeah, when we get closer to trade deadline, I've done that in the past. Yeah, once we get there, depending on what's left, if the Lakers haven't made other moves and stuff like that. Problem with doing that right now is we're still like a month and a half from the trade deadline. And so it's kind of like just like the news. But once I get closer to the trade deadline, yeah, I usually do like what should we get type thing, right? Like I talked about D'Lo right before that, a couple seasons ago. Last season, I had a couple guys on the list. But yeah, I appreciate that. But yes, definitely. Thank you. Bring Dorian Finney-Smith off the bench when LeBron comes off at the 6-7 minute mark. Yeah, that's probably what's going to happen. Like I said, JJ said that he's going to bring him off the bench for now, but he's going to continue to evaluate the starting unit. Walker Kessler would be fantastic. Or if we could please get Jonas, people are going to be so mad and be proven wrong if we don't get him and he balls out on his next team. Yeah. Look, like I said, Jonas Valanciunas as your starter is not great, right? But in a backup role, he's perfect. He's a guy that gets you a double-double in limited minutes off the bench that doesn't need setup, right? You don't have to create everything for him. You can just dump the ball down to him and he can go to work. Might give you a big body down low. Defensively, he's not great, but you have guys like Dorian Finney-Smith, and if you can get like a Bruce Brown and guys like that now, well, now you have guys that can funnel into Valanciunas, which he can do a better job cleaning up. If he's on an island, he's terrible. People are worried because the Lakers played him off the court 2 straight games. It's one thing when you need your starting center to play 35 to 40 minutes and he's getting played off the court. It's another thing when you're only looking for him to play 15 to 20 minutes, if that, right? Like that's when it's like, okay, now you're in trouble. But him off the bench in a reserve role is fine, right? Like I think he'll be more than fine, right? Like, and in all honesty, he's probably the best reserve we could get, right? Like, yes, I like the idea of Day'Ron Sharpe, but he's 6'9", he needs setup, right? Defensively, he's better, right? Like, but he doesn't have the experience. He's more of a development project big, right? He's 23 years old. Nick Richards, I like a lot, but again, setup guy, right? Injury issues. Valanciunas is clockwork, 80 games a season, right? Nick Richards has already been dealing with injuries this season, right? Obviously, Kessler would be fantastic, but he still has he's still a development guy, right? Like, if you're talking about like winning now, like Valanciunas is probably the best like win now guy that the Lakers could get in a backup role. Obviously, like Vucevic is probably the best center on the market. Like realistically, he's probably the best center on the market. But you'd have to start him, is the thing. You can't play LeBron at the one, not at this stage of his career. Maybe on like offense purposes, he does. I mean, he already kind of operates as the one on offense purposes, but defensively, you're in trouble. Imagine having to have him guard Ja Morant and then SGA in back-to-back playoff series for 7 straight games, right? Like, dude, LeBron's already dealing with a foot injury. He's already dealing with foot issues. If you don't have a healthy LeBron, you're not winning. Doesn't matter who we have. Wild thought. What do you think of CP3? He's not looking like a good fit with the Spurs if he gets traded and bought out. Maybe trade him, Jalen Hood, Jackson Woods. Thoughts? So I talk a lot about the Spurs just because like there's a lot of tension around the Spurs, and CP3 has been everything that like the Spurs love what CP3 has brought. They're not like CP3 has been excellent for the Spurs. People look at like the stats and stuff and are like, oh, he's not been great, but like I've dove into a lot of Spurs and a lot of like the games and the numbers because Wemby's popular, right? You make anything about the Spurs right now, you're getting views because of Wemby. So I've done a lot of like deep dives into the Spurs recently, and yeah, Chris Paul's been like literally he's been everything that they've wanted and then some. So I don't see that happening unless if they get like a De'Aaron Fox or something like that, maybe. But yeah, I mean, look, if for whatever reason, if Chris Paul ends up getting bought out, yes, I think you grab him in a bench role, right? Especially if you're trading Gabe Vincent. I think you take the shot. Slowly getting healthy, looking promising, still need more moves. Oh, yes, absolutely. Bruce Brown is a really good option. He's a great defensive guard, which is something we're looking for. Yes, exactly. And supposedly he can be had for 2 seconds, which is exactly what the Lakers have. We need an ISO scorer like DeMar in crunch time to just get a bucket, hit shots outside the paint consistently. Again, I would prefer, and I do, and I've argued, and I said this earlier in the stream, I do like the idea of getting that third guy, that consistency. I've talked about, what about, bringing back Brandon Ingram or something like that, somebody that can get that. I don't hate the idea. I don't know if the Lakers will do it, though. Obviously, yes, LaVine. I would prefer LaVine would be my ideal scenario. We need a two-way point guard that can play make better than we need a center. We mostly need the center for Jokic in the playoffs. Yes, agreed. The perimeter is still the number one priority, in my opinion. Would you put Dorian Finney-Smith in a lineup against Cleveland? I don't think JJ does it, but maybe in the next few games. No. So JJ already said he's not going to, that he's going to stick with the starters for now. He's going to evaluate and do all that stuff. But I wouldn't either, right? Even if I was JJ. Because, again, he just got off a plane like 12 hours ago. And on top of just getting off the plane, like he needs to learn the system, get acclimated, right? Like you need to be patient with him. So, no, if it was me, he's coming off the bench too. Eventually, handful of games in or whatever, I expect him to move into the starting unit. Personally, but we'll see. Time will tell. Nusky coming in hot with $2 super chat. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. What will it take to get Dejounte Murray? That's a big question. I would love to get Dejounte Murray. I'm still big on Dejounte Murray, but you're looking at probably Austin Reeves and 2 firsts. I mean, they just traded Dyson Daniels and 2 firsts to get him. They're probably going to want just as much, if not more, to get him back. So you're probably looking at Austin Reeves and 2 firsts. I don't know if I do Austin Reeves and 2 firsts anymore. I don't mind trading Austin Reeves. Like I would do like Austin Reeves and a first, right? If you could go get him. But the reason I wouldn't do Austin Reeves 2 firsts is because you overpaid. That's your fault, right? You're sinking. You need to trade everybody. You need to get off. So to me, like you play hardball. I wouldn't give up both firsts for him, but you got to figure that, like, if I'm being honest, what would like. Your question is like, what would it take? Probably that 2 firsts in Austin Reeves. If you could do like Austin Reeves and a first, you'd have to throw in, like a Rui or whatever. But like if you could do something like that and get Dejounte Murray, fine. And then you still have a first plus Gabe and Vando and these other guys, and you could still go get that other piece. At that point, I'd be looking for like, I'd either move Dorian Finney-Smith to the 2 or just like go all in and go get like a Kuzma or something like that. And then have like a Murray, because you'd still have like Vando, Gabe Vincent, and what else? Like Vando, Gabe Vincent, and probably like a vet minimums. You're talking 24 million, something like that. So I'd go look to go get maybe another Wayne or at least a 2-way 3-and-D guy, shooter, something like that. But look, if I'm being honest, I don't think the Lakers will be able to get Dejounte Murray. If they can, you do it. Because he helps now and the future, right? Like he's everything the Lakers need for now and the future. Talk about athletic, point of attack, 2-way guard that has athleticism, applies rim pressure, can close down the stretch, hit big shots, right? He's been playing with a bunch of like G League guys, right? Like, and he's still giving you nearly a triple double every night. So imagine what he could do with like LeBron, AD, and all these other guys. So yeah, if you could get him, you get him. But realistically, I think it'd be tough. Yes, Zach LaVine would be fantastic. Lakers 2025 NBA champions. Hey, look, I would absolutely love it if that can happen. I think Bruce Brown and Walker Kessler. I am all for Bruce Brown and Walker Kessler. Why do you still hate Coat Reeves? 16 assists. First off, I know you're trolling me, pal. Secondly, good to see you. I haven't seen you in a long time. Lastly, look, 16 assists is great, but that doesn't mean that should be your point guard. It was against Sacramento, who's been awful, one of the worst defensive teams, and they don't have the guards to apply the pressure, right? You saw as soon as they threw Keon Ellis on him, he turned the ball over like 2 straight possessions, right? Like he just pressured him, and then next thing you know, it's turnover. Like Austin Reeves during the regular season, I think is fine as your point guard. My concern is once you get to play. Could you imagine Austin Reeves as your point guard against OKC in the playoffs? When what they're going to do is they're going to sick their attack dogs on Austin Reeves 94 feet the entire game. They're going to have Alex Caruso and Lou Dort just hound him over and over and over. You need to get a guy that handles ball pressure better, personally. You're the real Tyler Hero. Well, thank you. I appreciate you, pal. Murray and Kessler would be fantastic. Vincent, Rui, JHS, Wood for LaVine. Hey, if the Lakers can pull it off, I am all for it. You'd have to include Vando in that deal because Vincent Rui gets you to $28 million. Jalen Hood-Schifino gets you to $31 million. Wood would get you to like $34 million. You'd have to throw in Jared Vanderbilt. If you throw Jared Vanderbilt into that, yes, you can get Zach LaVine and still keep Austin Reeves and all that. But you'd have to go Vincent Rui, Jared Vanderbilt, and Jalen Hood-Schifino and Christian Wood for LaVine. Lakers already cleared salary off the books. You'd also clear another like $1 million off of those books. And then you go and get a Walker Kessler, and my ideal trade scenario becomes a reality. So far, 1 of 3. I said Dorian Finney-Smith, Zach LaVine, and Walker Kessler. And you could probably get Zach LaVine without giving out any first, or you should be able to without giving out any first. Then you can take those first, go get Walker Kessler. Let's go win a championship, baby. Woo. And then personally, at that point, I'd probably trade Reeves and go get Bruce Brown, but that's just me. Because now you don't need, at that point, you don't need Austin Reeves. Let's see. I think we get Bruce Brown and Walker Kessler. I would love that. I would be all for that. Block up. What's going on, buddy? Now that D'Lo is gone, who will we dust the pitchforks off for? That's the $1 million question. All right, we don't have D'Lo anymore to yell at. I don't know. I mean, it depends on what ends up happening. We'll see who the new guy that develops becomes. Right. Keep an eye on Dorian Finney-Smith because he's box score wise. He'll probably give you 10-4-4, or 10-4-2 or whatever, and 43% from 3. But he's the new guy, so I can already see people being like, "Oh, Dorian Finney-Smith is trash," even though he's probably like our best player. Let's see, best role player. I am with you. We need Kessler. He can slow down centers like Jokic, and Joker just dropped 50 on Jonas a few games ago with ease. I kind of leaving out some context. It wasn't just on him, and it was in general. And Jonas Valanciunas came off the bench, and right, didn't he come off the bench that game and he only played like 20 minutes? But yes, I mean, Jokic. People got to keep in mind, Jokic against the 4-time Defensive Player of the Year and Rudy Gobert, and Karl Anthony Towns, another 7-footer, who actually defended Jokic better than Rudy Gobert. Jokic averaged 30, 11, and 8 against those two. Right? Like, so the fact that he dropped 50 on Valanciunas, who is a backup center, tells you everything. He averaged 30 against 2 7-footers, and one of which is the 4-time Defensive Player of the Year. Right? Like, what do you expect? But I get your point, Eli. Then I'll get Bruce Brown for another two-way guard, and we good. We have defense and we have scoring. Yes, look, if the Lakers end up with Bruce Brown and Valanciunas, we're in good shape, in my opinion. Or Kessler. Kessler would be perfect world, but this is actually a good question, Jalen Trifino. Bronny James is probably the correct answer. People probably pivot to Bronny James. D'Lo might get bought out. I think he signs with the Clippers. The problem is if Clippers are first April team, so anybody making over the taxpayer mid-level can't sign a buyout player. So I don't think that they can. Team would have to trade for him. Second apron guys can't sign two ways, period. And then first apron can't sign anybody over the mid-level exception. Lakers really only have about 36 mil. They will legitimately be able and willing to move. Yeah, roughly. Yeah, give or take. Unless like a Fox or somebody like that becomes available and they trade Reeves. Fox is next. I would love the Aaron Fox. That would be fantastic. Who is the better candidate between Sexton, Brown, and Brogdon? So assuming everyone's healthy, right? Because that's the problem. Brogdon, his injury history is rough, right? Bruce Brown, people worry about his injury, but he's never had an injury history, and he just came back. He looked fine, and the surgery that he had in the offseason isn't something that should impact him long-term. He should be fine. That's why they took their time bringing him back. But like if you told me Malcolm Brogdon, like if you had a time machine, jumped in a time machine, and you told me Malcolm Brogdon is going to play the rest of the season and be fully healthy throughout the entire playoffs, Malcolm Brogdon's the best out of all three for what the Lakers need, right? You could argue Sexton better offensively, Bruce Brown more versatile defensively, right? Like you can make an argument for each of them, but healthy, Malcolm Brogdon is a 40% three-point shooter, one of the better catch-and-shoot three-point shooting guards, big, physical, aggressive, defensive guard. Malcolm Brogdon is literally exactly what the Lakers need at the guard position. The problem is, can he play more than 40 games is the problem, right? Next on that list, I think Bruce Brown just for the versatility and then and two-way capability, and then Sexton next, right? Sexton, you could argue, is better offensively. He's probably better offensively than both, really. But given what the Lakers need, like if you had to just pick one, Brown is probably the best bet given all the context of everyone else. But Brogdon healthy is probably the best fit for what the Lakers need. I don't think you know who Bruce Brown is because he definitely doesn't suck. Did you watch him in the conference finals just torch the Lakers? Like Bruce Brown definitely does not suck. I don't know if you're thinking of a different Brown, but I like Brogdon more, but also like Lonzo more than both. Lonzo is because I was just going off of those three. Healthy Lonzo, like pre-Bull injury, Lonzo Ball might make this Lakers team a contender. Like, just like adding him on this roster. He was like 43% from three, a defensive menace and monster, and then obviously his playmaking and ability to do Lonzo would be the best option. Problem is, he hasn't played in 2 years. He's struggling this season, which is understandable. He hasn't played in 2 years, and he keeps getting hurt. Like, they're little minor things, but he keeps getting hurt. Right? Like, that's the other problem. I do like that he gives the Lakers flexibility. Like, the other thing that you have to keep in mind about Brogdon, Bruce Brown, and Lonzo is arguably the best thing about all of them is they are expiring contracts. And none of them are worth the money that they're getting right now. So what that means is you trading for them not only gives you a guy that you really need team-wise and fill a role that this team really needs team-wise, but also what it does is it gives you that flexibility in the offseason. So if you win a championship this season, beautiful, you can retain everybody and go get those added pieces to run it back and try to win again. If you don't win, but you're probably very close, and now you have the salary flexibility to now go make those other moves to win it next year. Also, LeBron James can take his discount if he wants to, if the pieces are there. I mean, and you have a good, or what should be a good free agency class next season. Granted, new CBA, all the teams can negotiate with their guys early. So a lot of those guys are probably getting taken off the market prior. However, it is shaping up to be a good free agency class, and there are a lot of guys, Kyrie Irving, that could maybe make his way to the Lakers. And if you could clear essentially like 20 plus million off your books on top of LeBron James, I keep doing that. LeBron James taking whatever he wants. I mean, he could take a vet minimum if he wanted to, right? Like, and go get Kyrie Irving and go win a championship. Just saying. The next player I'm looking for us to try to get is Davion Mitchell or Keon Ellis. I don't like, would Sacramento trade Keon Ellis? Probably not, especially if they do tear it down and blow it up. Right? Like, Keon Ellis makes sense for them long term, but Davion Mitchell, I'm kind of like, I like him defensively. I think he's nice. Like, I wouldn't hate it to go get him. But he's on Toronto now, right? Isn't that who he's on? Io is 6'5", 24 years old, versatile combo guard. I would love to get Io. Go get Sexton Kessler, Rui, JHS, first round pick. I am all for it. I think you have to throw in like a vet minimum, but sure. Doesn't matter. Go get it. If you can get it, get it. I'm not big on Davion Mitchell, but as like a defensive guard, like, he's fine. Go get Fox straight up. If only. I would love it. Need a center and a guard? Yes. Leave Bruce in Toronto. I disagree, man. I think Bruce Brown would be, I'm telling you, Bruce Brown would be fantastic on this team, in this system. He's familiar with the system. He's everything we don't want. We know he shows up big and he's not afraid of the moments. I mean, he was huge for Denver on the championship run, right? Like, his versatility, I'm telling you, man, he changes this team. He changes the dynamic of this team. Who would you give up for Brogdon and Valanciunas? I mean, what you'd have to give up, right? You'd have to do Gabe Vincent, Rui Hachimura, Jalen Hood-Schifino, and like a vet minimum, something like that. Asset-wise, I'm still not giving up a first. Probably like a pick swap, 2 seconds and like a pick swap, right? Because they're both probably worth 2 seconds. So figure 4 seconds, do a pick swap in 2 seconds. Sure, something like that. We will never get Fox. Never say never. I agree. It is incredibly unlikely. I would not count on it by any stretch of the imagination. However, a couple things you got to keep in mind. One, he's a clutch client. Two, his contract year is next year. So he could easily pull an Anthony Davis and just say, like, I only want to go to Lakers. But that's the problem. Will he do that? Would he do that? I don't know. If he wants literally any other team, right? If he's like, maybe San Antonio, he's going to any other team. But if he pulls an Anthony Davis, don't be shocked if he ends up that's the only way. He would literally have to force his way to the Lakers. Him and Rich Paul would have to do what they did with Anthony Davis and publicly come out and say, like, hey, we're going to the Lakers in free agency. You can trade for us for this year and a half, whatever, fine. But just know we're leaving and we're going to the Lakers. And then Lakers would still have to give up essentially everything, which is fine. You do it. And then go win a championship, right? Give up, Rui Reeves, Jalen Hood-Schifino, both your first, pick swaps, whatever you want. Here you go. Dalton Connect, here you go, right? The only guys I would try to keep is Max Christie and Dorian Finney-Smith, and that's just because of the defensive purposes slot alongside. However, again, it is extremely unlikely that De'Aaron Fox, like 90%, that he's going somewhere else when he inevitably gets traded. The only reason it's 10% is because of that purpose, because he is a clutch client and he can force his way to the Lakers. If he had like 3 more years on his deal, it would be about as close to 0% as possible. So yeah. No, if you trade those first round picks, it better be an all-star caliber player. No, if you trade those first round picks, you better be a contender. all-star caliber player is nice, but not like, look, Phoenix has 3 of them, and they're terrible. They're literally not even a play-in team right now, right? It's not just about the names on the back of the jerseys, right? Like, if you can use your first, like, what would you rather have, a championship or an all-star caliber player? Look, I am huge on Zach LaVine, but if you go get Bruce Brown and Walker Kessler, and you have to give up your first, none of those guys are all-star caliber players, but guess what? You're probably winning a championship, or you're extremely close, right? Like, I care more about championships. First-round picks are nice, but it's not a good way of thinking. Very regularly do first-round picks go for all-star caliber players. The Lakers kept Jalen Hood-Schifino in his $4 million contract for a reason. Yes, I agree. That's going somewhere. Let's see. Bro, stop with the expensive options. Lakers won't trade Rui, and they only have Gabe's contract trade. I don't know why you think they won't trade Rui. They said that they see him as long term, but they also said that he is available, right? Like, they will trade Rui if he get. Rui makes no sense now. He doesn't. He makes no sense now, right? Lakers want to go and get a backup center. Why? So Anthony Davis can play more 4. Dorian Finney-Smith is the better 3. Then you also have Dalton Knecht and Max Christie and all these other guys. Even LeBron can play the 3. Dorian Finney-Smith can play the 3. Like, Rui Hachimura at this point, if the Lakers pull off all the moves that they want to pull off, becomes null and void, right? He's a 4 that has to play the 3, but he can't defend the 3. He's not a 3. Right? So now, yes, the idea is like, okay, well, maybe he could play the 4 more. LeBron James is going to play 35 minutes a game at the 4. Dorian Finney-Smith should be playing 30 to 35 minutes at the 3. And then you have Dalton Knecht, Max Christie, and all these other guys. Jared Vanderbilt when he returns and gets healthy, right? And the 4 spot, you'd have LeBron James. You'd have Christian Wood when he's healthy. You'd have Jared Vanderbilt when he's healthy. You'd have Dorian Finney-Smith when he's healthy, right? Like, you have 4 or 5 guys right there, and you could always go, if you wanted to go small, still go and bring Dalton Knecht and play him at the 4 if you wanted to go small ball, right? Like, Lakers would be fine at that position. Like, Lakers would be fine. Like, that's the whole point. So that way Anthony Davis can play more 4. So if Anthony Davis and Rui and LeBron James are playing 40 minutes collectively at the 4, where does Rui slot in? Dorian Finney-Smith is shooting more volume and only 2% worse than Rui Hachimura. He's shooting 43% from 3, where Rui's shooting 45%, but on 2 fewer threes. They're shooting their numbers are essentially the same across the board. Only difference is one guy actually is a 3 or capable of playing the 3, and one guy is a 4. Like, that's the difference. So don't be shocked. They're not going to just give Rui away because he is a good player. And there is value to the Lakers for Rui Hachimura, even if other teams don't value him. But I keep seeing people like, no way, they're not going to trade Rui Hachimura. Don't be shocked. A lot of people are going to be very disappointed, by the trade deadline if the Lakers are serious about trying to win a championship here. Let's see. Trade Austin Reeves to go get Fox. Look, if De'Aaron Fox really does become available, whatever you have to trade, you trade it. Jalen Hood-Schifino in 2 seconds for Nick Richards. Nick Richards would be fantastic. The problem with Nick Richards is he even available? Right? Like, as far as we know, he's not even available. So teams have inquired about him, but that doesn't mean he's available. He has positive value because he's an expiring contract. Right? Why did the Lakers get Dorian Finney-Smith over the Memphis Grizzlies, who offered a first? It was a top 15 protected, but it was still a first-round pick, right? Compared to the Lakers offering 3 seconds. It's because the Lakers had expiring contracts, and they didn't. Jalen Hood-Schifino, even fully healthy, his value isn't in the player. It's in the contract. And a team might look at it and go, he's young enough to where we can take a flyer on him, right? Like, that's where his value is. Are we trading AD unique? Yeah, I'm telling you, man, keep holding your breath. I don't know why you want to trade AD so bad, for 1. And 2, again, keep holding your breath, my guy. Kessler would be fantastic. Hey, Tyler, what, in your opinion, who was a better team in 2016 Warriors, 2023 Nuggets? 2016 Warriors, nobody beats them. Even Nuggets with, Jokic and stuff like that. You're not stopping the Warriors. Denver was the worst or second worst defensive team in the playoffs. Warriors are really good defensively, and they just had too much firepower. Let's see. Lakers as stands, do you think at some point our Lakers get 3 seed? Can they? Yes. Will they? Probably not. I think. Look, I said it in the offseason. I thought they'd be a 4 or 5 seed, and that's where I think that they'll finish. I said they'd win. I said, what did I say? 52 wins. Say they go 52-30, and they'd probably finish as like the 4 seed. It's kind of what it's shaping up to be right now. So yeah, I think they'll finish 4th or 5th seed. They'll win 50 games probably, and be out there. Which players would you trade to get 2 players that total salary of $32 million? Bruce Brown and Jonas Valanciunas, or Bruce Brown and Walker Kessler, ideally. But yeah, I think it's like $33 million, but it basically is what you're getting at. Diop Reeves, I don't mind him, but he's 6'9", long, lengthy, versatile wing. Doesn't really give you much on the offensive side of things. I wouldn't trade 2 second-round picks for him. Like, to me, he's more of like a tack on, right? You go get Robert Williams and like Jeremy Grant, and you tack on Diop Reeves. Kind of like how Shake Milton was the tack on. That's what Reeves is to me. Lakers they need those second-round picks for something just better than Reeves. Bruce can shoot. He shot 36% playing alongside Jokic. What do you think is going to happen when he's playing alongside LeBron James and Anthony Davis? Kessler, stuff annoys me. Keep saying he is off the market. Now they turn around and act like he is available still. I don't know what he's doing. It's because they're not getting the offers that they want, so they're playing games. Is what it is. Let's see. No on Bruce Brown. $22 million has been hurt for as long as Vando has. I don't think it's been as long, but also Bruce Brown is back looking healthy. He doesn't have an injury history. Vando has an injury history. Bruce Brown doesn't have an injury history. That $22 million is expiring. Lakers maintain flexibility in the offseason and also now are a contender. Bruce Brown makes all the sense in the world. Perfect trades with Kessler and Bruce Brown, yes. Yeah, you stay away from DeMar DeRozan. DeMar DeRozan, like I said, I think he'd be better on the Lakers, but nah. Nick Richards would be great if he's actually available. I just answered your question. I've only gotten 1 super chat. I'm answering all the regular chat questions, as I always do, or as many as I can. So, and I already answered your question. Wood must go enough free front court season tickets. He should at least be passing water and messaging other people. He's trying to work his way back. Legit question, Tyler. Let's say the Kings blow it up and we trade AR, Rui, Vando, or Gabe salaries for Fox. Is it even worth it now midseason? 100%, yeah. Because even if you don't win this year, you have the foundation and nucleus to go win next season, right? De'Aaron Fox, LeBron James, Anthony Davis, Dorian Finney-Smith, and Max Christie are more than good enough to win a championship. And even if you don't win, you got your piece for now and the future alongside Anthony Davis. But now also you have the flexibility in the offseason to go in and get the bench depth and all the other things that you need to try to win. So yes, 100%. Let's see. The report said that the Lakers wanted Aaron. So again, I am just a fan, but there were several insiders that said the Lakers were targeting Day'Ron Sharpe. So again, all my videos are based on reports. They're not my opinion. I'm just the fan. I'm just the messenger. I know Sharpe price is higher than 2 seconds yet, which is why I don't think it happened. It's my glorious King Labuki James. Yes, happy birthday, LeBron. I think we only have 1 second. The other second is tied to 27 first Utah if it doesn't convey. No, they have what is it, Clippers? They have theirs in the Clippers second round pick. Wonder if they'll chase Cam Johnson and Sharp next with 2031 pick. I mean, it's possible. I think Cam Johnson's probably a pipe dream, simply on the basis that the teams that are active and talking to try to go get him just have more assets than we do. Like the Thunder are supposedly active in trying to get Cam Johnson. The Thunder could give 5 first-round picks for Cam Johnson just for fun and still have more assets than every team in the league. Right? Like anytime you see the Thunder interested in a guy, forget it. The Thunder are going to get him if they really want him. So, yeah. Yeah, get a decent big. Let's see. What if we went after Steven Adams? He's kind of just sitting in Houston, and he's a perfect big to absorb physicality for AD. I mean, I wouldn't hate Steven Adams. Problem is, he's been dealing with injuries all season, and he's last like few seasons he's been very injury prone, which is the problem. Current team with healthy Wood and Vando would be fire, but would still need a trade. Remember, Koloko is our only big left. Hayes and Wood, those pretty much our bigs in 2023. Lakers definitely need some trades. What do you think of Jason Timp's latest trade proposal? It was Rui, Jalen Trifino, and Hayes for Bruce Brown. Then it was Gabe and Vando for Sexton and Kessler. Does that work? Yeah, that does. And then Sexton, 21. Yeah, you might have to throw in another vet minimum guy, but yeah, sure. Yeah, like perfect, right? Like if the Lakers could do something like that. First off, I like Jason Tim a lot. He's actually one of my favorite creators. I just like the way he approaches the game. Yeah, I mean, you're a championship team. You got Bruce Brown as your point of attack, you got athleticism and Sexton, you got your backup in Kessler, 100%. Yeah. That you win a championship with that. Let's see. Jazz already they've said that they're not, and then they said that they were again, and then they said that they're not, and then they've came back recently and said that they were again. But he's available. It's just at the right price. They're not just going to give him away. Yeah, something like this. I wouldn't mind that. Io and Jalen Smith. Let's see. Javier, why would the Bulls do? Oh, you're talking to Javier, not me. Zach LaVine's still a possibility. I'm just saying. They need a starting caliber center, bro. No backup 80 is at best when he can roam on defense. You're going to be very disappointed. I wouldn't mind Vucevic, but John Collins at the 5. Like I said, I am more and more. I have came around more and more to the idea. If you can get Kessler, I don't want John Collins just by himself, but if you can get Kessler, then yes, I would do that in a heartbeat. Take on John Collins in his contract. Let's see. If you're gonna criticize me, leave context. You said trade Anthony Davis. Again, I know exactly what you're talking about. Again, I have a good memory. It's all on film, right? You said 2 months ago to trade Anthony Davis for Nikola Vucevic, LaVine, and Robert Williams. That's why I laughed at you. Okay, you keep talking about trading Anthony Davis. The Lakers aren't going to trade Anthony Davis. You keep saying, but you told me if they trade Anthony Davis that you'll let me talk, or you'll give me credit. Again, if the Lakers trade Anthony Davis, I'm telling you, there's 300 people in the stream. I will gladly shout you out and be like, Unique is the man. He's the only one. He's the guy, right? So again, if you're going to lie, at least be honest, right? I didn't laugh at you for one. And two, I said no way because you wanted to trade Anthony Davis. But back to a serious comment. May, appreciate you coming out to $5 super chat. There's 4 guys who shoot 40% on threes. We got 2. Plus, don't forget to give props to that guy. Dude, that's so funny. I was literally reading the comment today. That's hilarious. First off, May, I appreciate you. Thank you so much for super chat. Secondly, I know, I'm telling you, that dude is just that dude is comedy, man. Like he said you laughed at me. Yeah, because you said to trade Anthony Davis for those guys. Like, like they're not trading Anthony Davis. But like I said, look, if they trade Anthony Davis, I don't know. I'll get a little like snippet and add it to my video from him. He can say whatever he wants to me, and I'll add it to my video. And Lakers just traded Anthony Davis this season. They might trade Anthony Davis eventually. He's saying by the trade deadline this year that they are going to trade Anthony Davis. That's what Unique keeps saying, that by this trade deadline. And I'm a man of my word. Okay, if Anthony Davis gets traded this trade deadline, Unique can be my first guest on this channel. Okay, I will bring him on brief, but I'll bring him on as my first guest on this channel. That's how confident I am that Anthony Davis isn't getting traded. Look, if he's right, I'll give him credit. But yes, also, like you said, make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, everyone. If you're not subscribed and like the video, I really do appreciate it. But yes, we gotta keep the shooting up. Hopefully, you guys can kind of maintain, stuff like that. But I appreciate you, man. CSW coming out to $10 super chat. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. Vus still an option. I'm still wondering Zach LaVine trade too. So yes, Vucevic is still out on the market. He still supposedly can be had for 2 second round picks. So look, I've come around to it more and more. Originally, I was kind of like, my only problem with Vucevic is now LeBron's got to play the 3 full time. And I really worry about that. Like, I worry about 1, wearing him down, and 2, he's already dealing with a foot injury. I worry about him getting hurt. So that's my concern. I don't know. I don't think that the Lakers will go after Vucevic for that reason, because LeBron would have to play the 3 at that point. So you'd go like Austin Reeves, Dorian Finney-Smith, LeBron James, Anthony Davis, and Vu. Don't get me wrong, that would be tough. But the problem is if LeBron James gets hurt or gets worn out by playoffs, you're not winning anything. That's my concern. Now, as Zach LaVine, technically the Lakers can still go trade for Zach LaVine. It's if I'm being honest, I don't think the Lakers will do it, but you could go trade for Zach LaVine and not trade Austin Reeves. You do Rui, Gabe Vincent, Jared Vanderbilt, Jalen Hood-Schifino, and then like Christian Wood or Jackson Hayes or one of those guys. And then there's Zach LaVine. But yeah, look, if the Lakers if the Lakers trade for Vu, I will be pumped. Like, I said it earlier. I don't know if you're here earlier. I said it earlier. He's the best center available right now, right? Especially if you want to win now. Talk about a legit 20 and 10 guy that can make plays out of the post, right? Defensively, he's not great, but he's good at cleaning up, right? And what I mean by that is like Dorian Finney-Smith is really good with angles and funneling players into the big man. So if you can do that, you're in great shape, right? So Vu is a guy that can clean it up, and I like Anthony Davis as the weak side help, right? Him as your blind side defender, it would be ridiculous. The only, another thing you could do, and I've talked about this before, like with Vucevic, is on offense, you could have LeBron play the point, right? So LeBron would be your point guard. He doesn't even have to initiate. Like, he doesn't even have to bring the ball up. But, for position's sake, you have, LeBron, Reeves, Dorian Finney-Smith, Anthony Davis, and Vu. And then on defense, what you could do is you could go Austin Reeves, Dorian Finney-Smith, Anthony Davis on the strong side, and then put LeBron or keep LeBron on the weak side help. But then that kind of defeats the purpose with Anthony Davis at the 4 as your weak side help. So I worry about that, but I don't know. It's one of those things. If it happens, I'd be excited. If it happens, great. My concern is I one, I don't know if it happens, and two, I don't like. It's tough, but I would love it. I would, but I appreciate you. Appreciate you. May coming out $2 super chat. Would you fire a bowler shot 5 shots if Unique is right? I will do the shot game. If Unique is right, we will do the shot game. That's what I'll do. I'll bring him on for the shot game. That's what I'll do. If Anthony Davis gets traded by this trade deadline, I'll do that because he seems, I don't know, maybe he has like inside information. Maybe he knows. I don't know. Right? Like it's very possible, but he seems very adamant that Anthony Davis is getting traded this trade deadline. And look, I said he's on me, like, just wait. Look, if he's right, he's right. Like, I will give that guy all the credit in the world. Trust me. I am a man of my word, but I think he's going to be very disappointed when the trade deadline comes and Anthony Davis is still a Laker. But we'll see. Like I said, maybe he's still maybe he has some inside information. Maybe Anthony Davis has secretly requested a trade behind the scenes and we don't know about it. If he's right, he's right. But I appreciate you. Thank you. Let's see. Lonzo and Williams. Now, you're talking about Patrick Williams. Problem with Patrick Williams is he just, one, health, two, he's not what he was supposed to be, right? Like, he was a guy that was looked at as like maybe the next great kind of two-way guy. And he's just been very disappointing. And they just want too much for him. Lonzo and like Vucevic would be nice. I wouldn't hate that. Imagine the Lakers go and get Lonzo and Vucevic. What is that? Can they even do that any still? Because that would be what, 43 million? Let's say so. Yeah, they can trade for Zach LaVine. They can go get that. So yeah, do something like that. Get Brown 2 seconds and Gabe and Jared Vanderbilt. Yeah, I would not be against that at all. Let's see. Robert Williams is exactly what the Lakers need. He just can't stay healthy. LeBron is never going to guard a one-on-one defense. Let's see. Let's see. We don't need more guards. Well, if we trade guards, we do. You need a point of attack guard. You need to upgrade the point of attack guard position. Lakers don't have 2 seconds, Ty. I'll have to double check, but I'm pretty sure that they do. They still have 2 tradable seconds. But I can double check in a minute. See, Cam Reddish making a vet minimum. You're not really getting a point guard for him. Rudy and Gabe for John Collins. Like I said, I have come more and more around to John Collins. But you got to get Kessler, right? That's the value. I like John Collins. I've always liked John Collins. I think he's kind of been a product of just like environment, right? Like I just think he's kind of been dealt a cruddy hand since he's came in the league, like with Atlanta. I mean, Atlanta wanted to trade him like literally immediately, and he was like a 28-8 guy. Like, so anyway. We'll see, but yeah, I wouldn't mind John Collins out. Let's see. Bro, I respect your work ethic. Well, thank you. I appreciate that. Seriously. Got to work hard. I have goals. I have plans in mind. I have, where I want to be in life as a YouTuber. So got to work hard. Got to work hard for it. The game tomorrow is going to show why Dorian Finney-Smith should start. You're probably right. We have the contracts to get him, but I don't think the Lakers will get him. Miles Turner would be perfect. Problem is, a week or 2 ago, they said that they're not going to trade him. I agree with you, Tyler. We don't need a C as much as guards at small forward wings. We have 2 7-footers, Hayes and Koloko plus Wood. Dorian Finney-Smith small ball. good ball handler like CP3 or Lonzo would be great. Yeah. Because again, look, I'm not saying that they shouldn't get a backup if you can. If you can get a good quality backup center, get a good quality backup center. But to me, you need the perimeter help. All of the Lakers' issues get solved by upgrading the perimeter, right? Because they're one of the worst teams in the league at defending the three, which means teams shoot an average of like 38 threes a game against the Lakers, which is like second or third in like the league. So teams are just jacking up threes on the Lakers, and what's happens? Get all these long ball rebounds. And then at that point, it's just winning 50-50 balls. And teams are like, I can outrun Rui, Austin Reeves, D'Angelo Russell, and Gabe Vincent, right? Like you just don't have the athleticism out on the perimeter. So Lakers, if they can get that athleticism out on the perimeter, they're going to clean up a lot of the rebounding issues, a lot of the defensive issues. They'll just be a much better team. Like I said, if worst case, right? Like instead of getting Valanciunas and Bruce Brown, I'd rather get like Bruce Brown and like Colin Sexton, right? I'd rather do something like that. And if you can get a center also, then fine, get a center also, right? Like if you can get a Nick Richards or a Day'Ron Sharpe or something, then sure. But because once you get to the playoffs, you're only going to be asking your backup center to play 8 to 10 minutes, right? Like realistically, because Anthony Davis is going to do that. Let's see. Why get Bruce Brown? How much better does he make you than Rui? Then now you get two inconsistent shooters, Reeves and Bruce. You might as well keep Gabe. No. So again, it's not always about the player. It's not always about the name on the back of the jerseys, right? It's about the fit. Like if that's the case, Phoenix wins the championship every year. Why isn't Phoenix the best team in the league by a mile, right? You have 3 literal superstars on your team, right? Like it's because fit is important. Rui is redundant and he's slotted out of position, right? Lakers have a clear need, right? It's not about who's necessarily better. Rui, if you wanted to argue, is the better player, fine, right? They play 2 completely different positions and have 2 completely different skill sets, but sure, if you want to argue Rui Hachimura is the better of the 2, fine. Bruce Brown, what he does is he's the better natural fit. He solves a big need. He's a playoff player. He's a guy that's won a championship, that has experience, knows what it takes, and was a big part and help for that. He maintains financial flexibility for the offseason, which is huge because you can still do things. He wanted to be a Laker. It's the entire package. It's not just player for player, right? Because if that's the case, D'Lo is technically better than Dorian Finney-Smith, right, in a starting role. Right? Like D'Lo, better playmaker. He's not the better defender, but he's better playmaker, better volume 3-point shooter, right? Like, but Dorian Finney-Smith was a need. Lakers had a need badly, right? So you went and you swap them because it is a fit and solves a need, right? Like you can make an argument D'Angelo Russell is a better player than Dorian Finney-Smith, but Dorian Finney-Smith is a bigger need. Lakers desperately needed a 3-and-D wing. They desperately need that 2-way guard. That's the difference. Let's see. Let's see. Would you trade both first for Walker Kessler? Or would you trade not just for Walker Kessler? Because like I said, Lakers have other needs. But if you can get like Colin Sexton and Walker Kessler, sure. Because you'd still have your seconds, you'd still have pick swaps, you could still make other things. And I think that would make you a contender. Like I said, if you could get John Collins, even, I see a lot of people in the chat talk about John Collins. Either one. If you can get one of those with Walker Kessler, then yes, I'd trade both first. Let's see. Center over guards, you literally got a whole bunch of guards and wings. Now go get a center so you can get bigger and put AD at the floor. Problem is not AD, it's LeBron. It's the thing that people got to understand. AD has been very vocal and adamant about he doesn't want to play the center full time. Why is he still playing the center the full time? Is it because we've had 3 straight coaches that just want to spite him? Or is it because we're at the point now where everyone understands and realizes that LeBron is the 4, right? Why isn't Anthony Davis crying and complaining about it, right? Because he understands the situation, right? Like it's things like that. Anthony Davis is the 5 because of LeBron James. It's not because Lakers, because that's the case. Why not just go get Valanciunas right now and move him to the 4, right? And then move LeBron to the 3. Maybe that's something that they do eventually, but I just don't see it. Let's see. Salute, what's going on? Sorry, I'm trying to find something to me real quick. Oh, here we go. I don't think they are trading Kessler 95% at least. I think if the price is there, they will, right? They just want, they have a specific price in mind, right? And unless that price is met, they'll probably not, because they don't have to trade him, right? So I just think unless they meet their asking price, they're not going to trade him. Nick Richards is the best affordable center. The problem is he even on the market, right? Like teams have acquired about Nick Richards, but there is never, like, as far as I know, there have not been any credible reports that he is available on the market. I have yet to, that's why I don't talk about Nick Richards, because all the videos that I make stem from actual reports that are available. That's why you never really hear me talk about Nick Richards, right? Because there aren't reports that he's actually available, right? Teams have inquired. There have been the Knicks, right? The Pelicans, the Lakers. Like there are several teams that have asked about Nick Richards, and so far, no one's been able to get anything done. So that's the other problem. Yeah, I'm right there with you. Nick Richards or Day'Ron Sharpe are good options. My problem is, again, it's just, is Nick Richards actually available? Day'Ron Sharpe we know is available. I'm interested. Why didn't the Lakers pull off the trade for Day'Ron Sharpe? They still had seconds. They still had moves that could have been made. Curious, what's the reasoning? Is it that they wanted too much? Do they have another center in mind? Right? Maybe they're in the process of working that out. I don't know. Be very interesting, but yes. But appreciate you. Tyler, the Bulls aren't taking that BS. No long-term contracts. Then the Bulls are never going to get off of Zach LaVine. The only team that has a contract, like expiring contracts to get to Zach LaVine, is the Nets, and the Nets aren't going to do that. Not without getting like a first or something. Kessler Sexton for Rui Hayes, JHS 2 first. It's going to cost picks for Kessler, my man. I am with you. I wouldn't trade Reeves for Brown, unless, like, if you got like a Zach LaVine, maybe, but no, you're not. Like, I'm not against trading Austin Reeves. I know that that's probably a response to somebody else, but if I'm trading Austin Reeves, it's got to make sense. It's got to be an upgrade. Like, I said trade Austin Reeves for like Dejounte Murray, last trade deadline, something like that. I wouldn't hate it, but not for Bruce Brown. I want Bruce Brown, but not that bad. Ty, how many tradable picks do we have left? As far as my knowledge goes, we have 2 firsts, 3 pick swaps, and 2 seconds left. People were saying that we don't have 2 seconds left, which I'm pretty sure we do, but I could double check. I could be wrong. It's very possible, but I'm pretty sure that they have it, because they had 5 tradable seconds and they traded 3. So I'm pretty sure they have 2, unless I just am misinformed, which is very possible. I've been wrong before. It's very possible for me to be wrong again, but I'm pretty sure that they have 2 seconds. So, yeah, point is 2 seconds. I'm just going to say 2 seconds because as far as my knowledge goes, 2 seconds, 2 seconds, 2 firsts, and then 3 pick swaps, I believe they have. Jokic averaged 30, 11, and 8 against Rudy Gobert, the 4-time Defensive Player of the Year, and Karl Anthony Towns. Jokic dropping 36 on Walker Kessler is actually a good sign. It's not, there's no fixation with trading Rui. It's just people want to trade Rui because he's redundancy now. He doesn't make sense anymore, right? Dorian Finney-Smith is the better 3. The idea is to get a better backup center so AD can play more 4. Where does Rui slot in? Right? Like, so what? Rui's going to play. You're going to pay Rui $17 million a year, and we have other needs for him to just come off the bench and play 13 minutes a game. That's the problem. He's a redundancy. So you got to move off of him to get rid of the redundancy. Yes, Lakers in good shape. Let's see. Yeah, 3 for technically. So this is a good moment to help people understand the 3 first thing. So there's a lot of talks about 3 firsts going around. They technically have 2 firsts, but if they trade individually, then because the serpentine rule, they can't trade in consecutive seasons. So if they want to trade 2 firsts, they have only the 29th and 31st pick that they can trade. If they want to trade just 1 first, then they have the 30th pick that they could trade and keep the 29th and that. Or they could pick swap. So that's why it's 3. They have 3 pick swaps and 2 tradable first if they want to send it out into a trade, right? So either A, they have 3 individual, like 1 singular trade, you can do the 30th first, but if they want to trade both first, they have to do the 29th and 31st pick, and then the 30th pick, they can pick, it can be a pick swap, right? So the 2030 pick can be a pick swap. Because, I've had a lot of people ask me that. Like, oh, do we really have 3 firsts? The way that everyone keeps, like, media, Bobby Marks recently broke this down. I really encourage, because he went in depth to it. Bobby Marks recently broke it down and explained it, because there's been a lot of like news and articles about Lakers having 3 firsts. They don't have 3 firsts. Like they can't send 3 firsts in a trade for Cam Johnson, right? They could send 2 firsts in a pick swap, right? So just kind of wanted to clarify for people. Let's see. Kessler's a missed piece. I would love Kessler. We need Jonas. I wouldn't mind Jonas Valanciunas at all. Lakers got enough to win. I mean, they had enough to win before, but that doesn't mean that they're going to win. You need to get closer. Sorry, trying to find something to me. Give me 1 second. Yeah, health would go a long way for the Lakers. Kessler or Richards would be nice. I'm with you. Let's see. People have been saying this all offseason. Lakers just got Dorian Finney-Smith that 7 other teams wanted. So clearly they do. I don't think we're getting Kessler either. Although I'd love to get Kessler. Yeah, Kessler and AD would be a wonderful block party. However, yes, probably not happening. Stays hurt. You should look up his injury history. He doesn't really have an injury history. Would love to see a lineup of AD, Dorian Finney-Smith, Vando, Christie, and Vincent as a shutdown lineup. What do you think is the best D lineup with our new roster? Everyone healthy? Probably that. Yeah, Vincent, Christie, Vando, Dorian Finney-Smith, and AD. Yeah, I'm probably right there with it. Let's see. It's time to reignite the Dejounte Murray trade. I would not be against that at all. Not against that at all. Rui, Gabe, JHS, Hayes, and 2 firsts for Fox, who says no. The Sacramento Kings would say no. You're not getting De'Aaron Fox without trading Austin Reeves and probably Dalton Connect, which if you can get De'Aaron Fox, you absolutely trade that. What is your dream scenario going into the playoffs? Are you referring to like roster-wise or just like where we're at, period, go playoff time? Because roster-wise, like I said, have like a starting 5 of like Bruce Brown, dream scenario. So if we're going dream scenario, still it's Bruce Brown, Zach LaVine, Walker Kessler, LeBron James, Anthony Davis. But let's keep it within reason, right? Ideally, Bruce Brown, Austin Reeves, Dorian Finney-Smith, LeBron James, Anthony Davis. Let's say Valanciunas to keep it real. And then, you have, if you need to, go bring in a whatever, Markelle Fultz, something like that, serviceable guard, point of attack, athletic guard. And then you'd have, let's say, Milton, Christie, connect with Vando still. You'd still have Vando, but connect, Vando, Wood, and Valanciunas. Lakers are top 4 seed, healthy, and let's go win a championship. I'm assuming that's what you meant, Blecka, but let's see. Sorry, trying to find something. Me. Herb Jones for Gabe and Shake, 1 first round, 3 seconds. One, unfortunately, the Pelicans said that they're not going to trade him. He's one of their untouchables. 2, if you were going to offer something to maybe change their mind, it wouldn't be that. It'd have to be Reeves, probably a first, if not 2 firsts, something like that. Probably be like Reeves and 2 firsts for Herb Jones. Talking about a guy that's a potential all defensive player, that is young enough to be your long-term 2 or 3. Let's see. They need a consistent scorer who can get his at will. I still like the idea of a LaVine or a Brandon Ingram or something. I just don't think the Lakers are going to do it. But if all else fails and you can't find anything else that makes sense, go get Brandon Ingram. All right, you got to make sure he's healthy. But Brandon Ingram gives you flexibility if it works. It's great. I like Quincy a lot. If prior to Shake Milton, I really wanted, especially when Gabe Vincent was awful, I really wanted to see Quincy get some minutes. I really do think Quincy could be a rotation piece. But Shake Milton, now that we got Shake, I would rather Shake Milton, I think will give you what you need for Quincy. So, Shake Milton's just more experienced veteran guy. But prior to us getting Shake Milton, I was screaming for Quincy. Quincy could be the unsung hero. I really like Quincy, but I really do think Quincy might not even make the rotation. Who knows? But I think he's the low-key under the radar signing. Simons, or says I'm assuming you mean Aferne Simons and Colin Sexton because we want someone for the future. I wouldn't be against either. The problem with Aferne Simons, he's worse defensively than D'Angelo Russell. Right? So something to kind of keep in mind. Let's see. Sorry, trying to find something to me. How convenient is it that Vando all of a sudden participates in Alcon as soon as Rob makes a trade? Yeah, because he didn't trade him. Now all of a sudden. Yeah, cuff on Irving. Yeah. Zach is a perfect fit. Agreed. I think LeBron would absolutely take a pay cut to get Kyrie. That's why you go get Bruce Brown, right? You go get Bruce Brown. Look, if you build it, Kyrie may come, right? I don't want to get and spark a bunch of Kyrie conversation, but again, if let's say you get a Bruce Brown, you could clear because he was going to sign for $11 million with us. So, let's say the mid-level exception, you clear essentially $10 million off your books. On top of clearing $10 million off your books, LeBron James could take extra 30, 40 million. You'd have all the vet minimums and everything else. Dorian Finney-Smith, you can restructure his contract and get him maybe on a longer term, cheaper deal, especially if he's willing to play ball and try to win a championship. You could easily clear enough to sign Kyrie Irving. And imagine like Bruce Brown, Kyrie, Dorian Finney-Smith, LeBron James, and Anthony Davis. Stop the madness. Stop the madness. But back to reality. Here we go. These next few free agencies are really good. Let's see. Let's see. So I try to find something to me. Here we go. Sexton, Kessler, or cheap version Trey Mann and Nick Richards. I wouldn't mind Trey Mann and Nick Richards either. We can get both for just Gabe Vincent, Jalen Trevino. We still have 2 seconds in the swap. Just cost. Cost is everything. The right price, right cost. Let's see. Yeah, Trey Mann and Richards would be nice. When Anthony Davis doesn't get traded, I want you to come here and apologize. When Anthony Davis doesn't get traded, I want you to say that you're mean, Goofy, and I'm sorry as it stands. Okay? You want me to be a man? You be a man, okay? We'll see. One of us is going to be right. If we get Miles Bridges and Nick Richards, they should hand us a ring. The Lakers could get Miles Bridges. Yeah, absolutely. Man, if you Miles Bridges and Nick Richards, I would trade both first for Miles Bridges and Nick Richards. Miles Bridges is like still at 26. You're talking about legit 20 and like 8, 3 guard. Like, man, that would be tough. And yet the Lakers just made a trade. So let's see. You need Greg Monroe. Let's see. Nick Richards, trade man, Cody Martin for Gabe, JHS, Hayes, Wood is a possible direction they take. Then they keep Rui. You can pull something like that off. I'm all for it. Give you some depth, defense, versatility. I am not against that at all. Let's see. Here we go. Kessler 80 block party all I want. That would be fantastic. Yeah, that's my concern is LeBron playing the 3. I don't know if that's best for this team, to be honest. Dorian Finney-Smith is not better than Rui Hachimura. At the 3, he is. He's a better 3. He's better defensively. He's shooting nearly the exact same percentage as Rui on more attempts. Their 2-point percentages nearly identical, all of it. Emily, yes, thank you so much. Yes, please take a quick second. Hit that like button. Hit that subscribe button if you're not subscribed either. All right, I'm going to do a handful more comments and then skate on out of here. Obviously, Super Chats take priority, but outside of that, I'm just going to go in order here and skate on out of here. Would you trade for another wing like Kuzma or not? Obviously, you can never have too many, so sure. But I mentioned this earlier, I was talking about this more in depth earlier. If I'm JJ, I'm looking at Dorian Finney-Smith and I'm seeing I'm experimenting with him. Play him at the 2 a game, play him at the 3 a game, play him at the 4 a game, right? And kind of get a feel and see because what if he's really good at the 2? Right? Okay, well then you could go get a Kuzma or something like that and just be big, versatile, athletic out on the perimeter, right? I wouldn't hate it if it happened. But I think if you're the Lakers, you have to check first. Watched your show when you had 3K subs. You hyped AR and Max harder than Trev at Lakers Nation. AR ain't a ball handler. Period. He scores when they're not expecting him to score. He's still good though. Yeah. Look, I've talked about it too. Like I was one of those people originally that hyped up Austin Reeves like he was the second coming of Michael Jordan. Like I was as high on Austin Reeves as you could possibly be on Austin Reeves. But eventually you got to come to the realization that like, okay, he's not that guy, which is fine, right? I mean, that's part of it. You only know what you know in the moment, right? Like so many people I feel like are worried about like, oh, like I don't want to like I can only evaluate Reeves on what he just did, right? And in the moment, he was coming off of like an insane season, right? And then now it's been a year and a half, and it's like the same thing. It's just like, what do you expect? At what point are you honest? What's going on? I appreciate you. Let's see. Let's see. Miles Bridges, Nick Richards would be perfect. Agreed. We have 2 seconds. I keep seeing people saying we only have 1. We have 2. Last I checked, we had 2. So unless something's changed, I'm pretty sure we have 2. Technically, no. I mean, it was always a bit of a long shot, but technically, no. Technically, the Lakers could still go trade for Zach LaVine and still keep Austin Reeves. Let's see. All right, let's do a couple more. There is reports right now Lakers could land Walker Kessler, but Utah. Hold on, I'll have to double check. That would be beautiful if that could happen. All right, let me do like 2 more here. Let's see. Yeah, Kessler deal comes on. How do you think we do tomorrow against the Cavs? It's gonna be tough. Look, can the Lakers beat the Cavs? Yeah, absolutely. Will they beat the Cavs? That's the other question. I mean, it's gonna be how well can we contain Donovan Mitchell? If we can contain Donovan Mitchell, you'll win the game, right? So I'm gonna say that they win. I think they'll be hyped, they'll be excited, new trade. Guys are gonna be pumped. I'm gonna say Lakers beat the Cavs tomorrow. Finish the year off strong. And I'm all for it. But let's see. Kessler could be Lakers, but Jazz hold up because they were worried Walker could elevate Lakers and the pick will be wasted. Interesting. I'm gonna have to look that up. I'm going to look that up. But anyway, I'm going to get on out of here. Everyone that hung out with me, thank you so much. I really do appreciate it. Everyone that gave me super chats, thank you so much. Seriously, helps me out a ton. Everyone here, please take a quick second. Hit that like button on your way out. It really does. It helps more than you think, more than you know. And then also subscribe to the channel. I'm closing in on 24,000. What am I at? I know I was like close to 24,000. I am 150 subscribers away from 24,000. So, hit that subscribe button, hit that like button for me, please. Take a quick second. I would greatly appreciate it. But anyway, everyone, I will see you all in the next one tomorrow. I'll see you in the post-game stream tomorrow. And hopefully the Lakers pull out that win.